What's up, guys? So today, you probably saw the title of the video, very different type of video that I'm going to do today. So I just got back from something. Let me see if I could show you guys here. So I just came back from a funeral. It wasn't a family or a friend funeral, and I wasn't an attendee of the funeral. Instead, for the past 2 years, I've been volunteering at a funeral home. And what that means is I go there and I assist with the deceased. What's interesting about that is when I'm in the hospital, I take care of, obviously the living, and I try to help the sick. And oftentimes I have to deal with people passing away. And part of my job is to examine them, pronounce them as dead, and do all the paperwork that's required for the body to be released from the hospital. So I'm the one that does a death certificate to make sure that funeral homes can come pick up the deceased. And after that, after the body goes to the morgue, I don't really have any more interaction with the process. I've kind of done my job. Then after that, the body gets taken over. What happens afterwards? I never really put too much thought into it, even though I've been pronouncing bodies and my name is on hundreds of death certificates at this point. So I never really bothered to think about what happens afterwards. But ever since I've been volunteering, I now continue on to the process all the way to the gravesite. So also, if you guys didn't know, I myself am a Muslim. And the one thing that's unique about death is that regardless of what religion you are, how wealthy you are, what your skin tone is, doesn't matter. This is a unifying situation for all of humanity. Everyone is going to have to die. Everyone is going to pass away. And nobody can deny that. So it's actually something that transcends all facets of life. And it's something that unifies us all as humans, is that we are going to pass away. And that, I think, is something very unique and can oftentimes be used as common ground between a lot of people. However, I feel like because death is so negative and it's, of course, associated with a lot of negative emotions, no one likes to discuss it, no one really likes to talk about it, everyone likes to just overlook it, which is understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. However, in my religion, I'm a Muslim, if you didn't know, we treat death a little differently. Those that take care of the deceased, it's a very honorable thing to do, to take care of the deceased. And the responsibility of taking care of the deceased is actually on the entire Muslim community. However, if somebody steps up and knows how to perform the proper rites of the deceased, you can essentially remove the burden off of the shoulders of the rest of the community when it comes time to taking care of the deceased. Now, what do Muslims do? Muslims, we bury our deceased, and the whole funeral process has essentially 3 major steps. The first step is cleansing of the deceased. So we wash the body. The second part is shrouding the body. So what do I mean by shrouding? Shrouding is we use white cloth and we wrap the body in white cloth. Oftentimes three pieces of white cloth or 5 pieces of white cloth. Now, it doesn't matter where you're from or how rich or poor you are. Everybody gets shrouded the exact same way. Everybody gets put in the same pine wood coffin. There's no such thing as caskets in Islam. We don't really use caskets. Everybody has the exact same pine wood box. And everyone gets shrouded the same way. So everybody looks the same. And then lastly, we perform our funeral prayer, and then we head to the cemetery to actually bury the deceased. Now, that itself is a very powerful concept, because at the end of the day, we're all the same in terms of we're all just humans. So in Islam, everybody gets buried the same exact way. If you are very wealthy, you can't, get dressed up and be in a very fancy casket or anything like that. No, that's not allowed. And if you're homeless and you pass away on the street, you have the exact same rights. And I've seen it where you have hundreds of family members and very established people who, unfortunately, due to an accident or something, lose their life. And then I've seen people who literally there's nobody else there. I'm the only one washing the body, and I'm the only one there at the cemetery burying them as well. But from the outside, you can't tell the difference. And that's actually purposeful. because it's just supposed to remind you and humble you the fact that whatever you got blessed with in this world, it's literally something that was given to you. It's not intrinsically you that earned it. It was a test put for you. And that's basically the principle of why we treat all the deceased the same way. So overall, lastly, I want to say that over the past 2 years that I've been doing this, I can't even describe to you how fulfilled and rewarded I feel doing this. So if you have the opportunity, I would say definitely look into the process of funerals. Look into the Islamic process, look into maybe other religions and cultures and how they perform funeral rites, and get involved in your community. This is something that, like I said, transcends between all of us. My long-term plan is I don't really see myself stopping. I thought that I was gonna, volunteer and, just out of curiosity and just see how it's gonna be. And now I've realized that it's become almost a part of me. I think about it, and you'd be surprised how much you think about it. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, one day I'm gonna pass away. My parents are gonna pass away. Elders of mine are gonna pass away. My friends are gonna pass away. This is just something that we all have to deal with. And given the fact that you have to deal with it eventually, and it's inevitable, finding a way to deal with it early on, it's better, and actually makes you live a very different, and it changes the outlook that you have on life. And I think that is the most priceless thing about it. So again, I would recommend, if you are able to, definitely see if you can volunteer at a funeral home. I think it's a great experience. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. Sometimes my wife thinks that I'm crazy, but at the end of the day, she respects this decision, as do most people. So let me know your thoughts down below, and until next time.